Hello guys and welcome to my channel QANSIGLIERE. Today I'm going to talk about REST API, what is REST API in simple words, how to work with REST API and how to use it. At the beginning of my conversation I want to remind you guys what you have a great opportunity to contact me directly. To do it you just need to open my YouTube channel, click here to get access to all available links and click on the first link. It will open a new page with Google Form where you can write all your questions and send them to me. From my side, I'm going to review all your questions and try to answer them in the next videos. What is REST API? Technically, REST API is uniform interface what is used to make data, content, algorithms, media and other digital resources available through web URLs. In simple words, REST API is a way how you can make communication between two different components or applications. Actually, REST API is a very popular solution in IT world, and for instance, such solution with REST API could be used in case if you have a server application with huge database where you keep information about users, their activities, about their orders, any information related to your application, and you use additional clients to make calls to the server application and receive this information, maybe modify this information, maybe add some new records in the server database. And in this case, it's better to use REST API solution. As I mentioned before, REST API solution is very popular solution in IT world. For instance, when you launch your web browser and open any web page, technically you send REST API calls to the server. We can see it. Let's refresh this YouTube page and we can see a huge list of REST API calls. Each REST API call has more detailed explanation. Here we can see what specific URL was used, what method for REST API call was used, what is response status code, what is response headers, what is request headers, and what exactly server returned us for our REST API call. And such approach you will be able to see in any web application and in some mobile applications, because also mobile applications could be used to send REST API calls to some remote server. What REST API methods we have and when we should use them. For instance, if you have any specific API endpoint like customers, users, orders, products, and you need to receive existing data from this specific endpoint. In this case, you need to use get REST API method. This method is used to receive existing information. It could be information about any specific object or about a group of objects. To make get REST API call, you need to provide three parameters. First parameter is a specific URL for specific API endpoint. Second parameter is request headers. In request headers we provide information, what type of information we send to the server, what type of information we expect to receive from the server, and what are our credentials for authentication. In some cases we could send additional information like user agent, it means who sends these API calls, or maybe information about used time zone to adapt your responses or requests to specific time zone. And last one parameter, it's method itself. In our case it's get, and if all three parameters are correct, you will receive server response. This server response will contain three objects. First object is response headers. Like here we can see additional information about cookies. Let me check. Yep. Here in response headers we can see information about content type, about credentials, available types of information, some information about cookies and authentication, and so on. Plus we receive status code. We can see it here. Status code 200, it means what everything is fine. Status code 400, it means what you have issue on the client side and probably you do not send required parameters or send them in the incorrect way. And 500 status code means what you have some troubles on the server side. And the last one parameter, what is received from response, it's the response itself. It means information what you asked from server. Second REST API method, it's post method. This method is used in case if you need to create any new record in any specific API. Technically, it's used to add some new records or objects in the specific API endpoint, and it means specific database. What parameters we need to use to send post request? First of all, it's specific URL, specific API endpoint. Request header is the same as we had for GET. And now we need to send request body. It means a JSON or any another object what should be written in this specific API endpoint. And if we provide all parameters correctly, we should receive three objects. Response headers. Technically, in some cases, it would contain the link to the created object. Response status code, the same approach as we had for GET. 200, it means what everything is fine. 400, it means what we have an error on the client side. And 500, it means an error what we have on the server side. And response information. Sometimes for post method, you can receive an empty server response. Sometimes you can receive a written object in this specific URL with IDs and of other additional parameters. Or you can receive a group of created objects. It depends on the implementation. Now, third one REST API method, it's put. Put method is used in case if you need to update any existing record in any specific API endpoint. Approach is the same. You need to use specific URL, you need to provide request headers, you need to provide request body. It means the whole JSON object what should be updated. And method, in our case, it's put. If everything is fine, you will receive information what your object was successfully updated, and you can receive a server response with updated information. Next one method, it's patch. Patch method is used to update any existing records in any specific API endpoint, and the difference between patch and put methods is in approach. For put method, you need to provide the whole object itself. In case of patch method, you just need to provide only pairs key value what should be updated, and technically request body here will take less number of records than here. And last one method for REST API, it's delete method. Usually it's used to remove existing records from any specific endpoint. You need to provide specific URL, request headers. Request body usually for delete method is an empty JSON, and method delete. In case if everything is fine, you will get notification what object is deleted, or you will get an empty server response. I hope what this short stream about REST API method was very useful for you guys. Please write your comments what you think about this stream. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and see you later.